Hello friend, how are you? Welcome to Tripan Study Center. Today we are doing most important chapter of history. What is the topic today? Central administration. There is the most important here, a central administration, the part of the administrative system and institution chapter. There is the most important here. And there is already mentioned the administrative system was headed by the Sultan. And there was a number of the department which were to the assigned different responsibility. And this department were to the managed by the influential of novel, and we will be provide a brief account of the few department. The first topic there is according administration here or central administration or Wizarat. The Wizarat here is after the Sultan. Most important office was the Diwan-i-Rasalat is head by the Wazir. The head of here Wazir. Wazir is a recently time is a prime minister. The prime minister is called to the Wazir. It was a key of position in the royal court, and his role was the general is a superior over all departments, and thus was one of the four important department had. And he was the chief advisor of the Sultan. Today time there is the advisor of the president, there is a prime minister of advisor, there is a chief advisor of the Sultan. Who is the or chief advisor of Sultan? There is a Wazir. The main function of the Wazir were to look after the financial organization of the state. There is the most important work here, and give to advice to the Sultan, and one is the occasion to the or lead to military expeditions at the Sultan, and we had he is also surprised to the payment to the army. The Wizarat or the office of the Wazir also keep a check on land review and collection, maintaining a record of all the income and expenditure, and created by there is a state, and thus a control or recorded the salary of all royal servant, and handled there is the charitables is a donation such as a wharf, ilam, and sector, and further mint of the intelligence and department the royal builds and their body affiliated to the royal court were supervised by the Wizarat. And the Wazir has a direct access to the Sultan, and it was on his with thumbs and sanitary and the royalty that is a position of the Sultan dependent to the greatly. There is a several other department which is a work to the under to the is a Wizarat. There is a strict interested with the specific function, and this include the Mustafi A. Malik means is auditors of general, and the Musarif A is a Mumalik is accountant general, and Mazamu Dar a keeper of the loan and the balance for the treasurer. There is a most important here. There is a part of administrative center, and later some other of office where both is under to the supervisions of the Wizarat, like a Diwan-i is to mean to the supervision of expenditure, and Diwan-i Raz to took into the area of the revenue of payment, and Diwan-i Amir Kohi to be a wearing to the uncultivated land into the cultivation through state sport. And the next year the Diwan-i-Arz, there is the most important department of center. This department was set up to look after the military organization of the empire. It was headed by the Ariz A. Malik, and he was responsible for the administration of military affairs. He maintained the royal continent and is recruited their soldier and ensured that the lines and there is a fitness of the army. Inspected there is a troops is maintained by the Iqta holder. Examine there is a horse and the branches them with their royal insignia. And during time of war, the Arz is arranged a military provision and transportation and administer the army at the war, and provided to constant supplies, and was the custom done of a war boot. Botis and Alauddin Khilji introduced the system of dag, branding, and hulia, description. That is the most important here. Important to the UPSC exam. There is a Alauddin Khilji introduced the system of dog is a branding and the ulia is a description. Alauddin Khilji and cash payment of the soldier in order to strengthen his control over to the army. The continent of the strength at the Delhi was called is a Hasanam Iqtal and provisional of the continent where is called Hasanam Atraf. The next here is the most important here department Diwan-i-Insha. The Diwan-i-Insha is the most important here, and this department is looked after the state correspondence. It was head by the Davir-e Khas. He is drafted as the deputy to the royal order and received the report from the various officers. The Davir was the formal channels of the communication between the center and other regional of empire, and he was also as a sort of private secretary of the Sultan and was responsible for the retain the Fremen. And Fremen, there is the most important here. The Barons A. Mulekix was the head of the state new gatherings and dealt with the intelligences there. He had to keep information of all that is happening in the Sultan. And at the local level, there is a bearer is who used to send the regular new is a conveyings their matters. There is a next here a Diwan-i-Rasalat. There Diwan-i-Rasalat is the most important here, and there is a this department deals with their administration of justice. There is a most important department here, this Salat, and it was head by Sada, who was also the Quasi A Malik. He was the highest religious officer. There is a highest religious officer and took care of the statutory affair. He also is appointed to the Quaza, is a judge, and the approval various is a charitable grant like a work, wazifa, idara, etc. The Sultan was the highest court of the appeal in the both civil and criminal matter. The next to him was the Quasi A Malik. There is a Mutasib, is a public censor. An assistant there the judiciary department, and there is a main task was to be seen that there was no public interference of their tent of the Islam. He was also to supervise and enforce the public moral and conduct. The next state is the other department. The other department is the most important other department. Apart from this there was a number of small departments at the center which help in the everyday administration of the empire. Vakil Adar is looked after their royals household and manage the personal service of Sultan. Amir Haji is looked to the after the royal ceremonies, and he used to the act as on the intermediate between the Sultan and the subordinate of the officially, and there is a between Sultan and the public. Share Jandar is a looked after the royal body is a goddess. Amir Akur is a looked after the establishment of the horses, and there are Sana is feel look after the establishment of elephants. Amir Mazil is a looked after their arranged to the meeting the special ceremony. The royal workshop is a Karakhanas is a play on the important role in the administrative system of Sultanate. The need of the royal is a household where made through the Khankhans. There is a Khankhans where to the two types. The manufactories and the storehouse. The manufactories and the storehouse, they are the most important part of the administration. Under the Firoz Tughlaq, and there were also is mainly as a 36 Kharan Khans. The each Kharan Khans was superior by the noble who had to the rank of the Malik and Khan. The Mustafrif is the responsible for the account and accepted as the immediate of supervisor in the various department. There is the most important here.